Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for January 2022. So on Friday, January 14th, we have our very first Mercury retrograde. Now, many people cringe hearing about Mercury going retrograde, and although it is semi-cringe worthy, especially seeing how Venus is also retrograde, we do have to understand that Mercury only causes havoc to those of us that have not been doing the work, have not been learning the lessons, have not been in alignment with our highest selves. And therefore, although there are certain disruptions, Mercury retrogrades are actually a good thing. Why? Because we get to stop pushing forward. We get to stand still. We get to reflect back. We get to revisit topics and themes that didn't have the endings that we needed them to have. We have to rehash some emotional conversations that didn't go well or didn't happen at all. We have to revisit and revise our plans that we came into the year with. And of course, we have to open our minds to accepting new details, emerging, being illuminated for review, for reprocessing, and for integration. So Mercury, ruler of the mental plane that rules over the way we think, the way that we function, the way that we communicate and express ourselves, he essentially gets drugged. He's asleep at the wheel. And in his unconscious slumber, this is where dots get connected, where we do have to kind of look back before we can realize where it is we have to move forward. The fact that Mercury is going retrograde in Aquarian energy is going to be pretty profound for this particular level of awakening. Of course, we just had a brand new group of people awaken with the solstice energy. We also had a huge upgrade and renovation of people leveling up, and for some choosing to exit this particular realm very early on in this year. We just had the 111 portal that wrapped up the life lessons from the 1111 portal in November. And now with Venus retrograde, Mercury is really going to do some good thinking, some good connecting of the dots, some good reflection. We're going to get a little bit nostalgic because, of course, Mercury's going retrograde only days before the full moon in Cancer. That is going to have us very attached to the past, very much romanticizing the way that things happened in the way that they did. And of course, we are going to be encouraged to rehash some of the pain, some of the trauma that we have kind of discarded in order to actually nurture our inner child back to a safe place of security and stability. So Mercury going retrograde is going to bring a lot of things back up. And again, if you haven't listened to the 2022 energy forecast that I put out, you should definitely go do that. But all of the Mercury retrogrades this year start off in air signs and end up in earth signs. So what we can take away from what we can expect to happen while Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius. First of all, Aquarian energy is an air energy. It's visionary. It is a higher intellect. It also rules over the collective. It is also the awakener energy. It tends to shock us. It tends to elevate our minds to a certain channel of information coming in. Now, where this definitely is going to have an effect on the conscious collective, it means that we're likely going to see a lot of the information, the lies, the betrayal, the corruption be illuminated and rise to the surface in such a way that we're going to have to revisit that. We're going to have to reprocess that. We have to understand that, the Aquarian energy is the rebellious energy. It is here to liberate us and free us from the unconscious collective, which of course is that Piscean energy. And, the lessons that we're currently learning here on the collective, as far as humanity's growth is concerned, is that we have a lot of really not so nice things to acknowledge, to accept, to make public knowledge before we're all on the same wavelength, before we're all on the same understanding, frequency, and vibration. Now, in your own personal life, this is likely going to A, disrupt the plans that you thought that you were initiating at this particular point in the year. B, likely going to bring some old friendships, some old connections from the past back into your present moment, and C, probably put you in an interesting position to awaken to a brand new perspective of understanding what it is that's been going on in your own mental plane, in your own mental programming, in your own mental narrative. Now, when Mercury first goes retrograde, that's pretty much the toughest part. We have a lot of releasing to do, a lot of shock and awe to kind of experience. And halfway through Mercury's retrograde, that's kind of when we awaken to what needs to happen. When we start piecing things together, making a new informed type of plan for ourselves so that when Mercury dips back into this earth energy in Capricorn, we're going to be able to actually do something about it when Mercury goes direct in our physical realms, in the foundations of our belief systems, of our understanding, of the information and knowledge in which we have. We're going to be able to actually make a shift for the long-term plan that we now need to have since our plans were absolutely just thrown out and disrupted. So it is going to be a little bit of a cluster F. We do have to consider the fact that Uranus, the ruler over Aquarian energy, is also retrograde and preparing to go direct on the 18th. We have the true nodes switching their axis on the 18th, which is also the day before the sun moves into Aquarius. So we have to expect that there is going to be major information dropped on us, totally changing the landscape of our understanding. We're going to be channeling in a lot of higher intelligence information as well. This Aquarian energy does rule over space and technology, and seeing that we had a pretty profound event take place with this new telescope up in the cosmos, we're likely going to encounter our very first signs and symbols of life way out there, way further than what it is that we've ever been able to explore. So it is a good opportunity to take a good look at your chart and see where Mercury is retrograding, to see what particular topics and themes are likely going to be the major ones for you to tackle while Mercury jumps into his very first retrograde. But just have a good understanding that collectively we're all going to be shook. We're going to be shook up for all the right reasons in order for us to open our minds, rewrite the narrative, opens our minds to a different form of programming, so that we can see futuristically where it is that we need to be and what it is we can do in the here and now to position ourselves to actually get there.